Hey there, this is Ben from Cinema Gulp. Today we're introducing you to Quick Shots reviews. And we're starting off this series with The Conjuring 2.
Get out now.
No, this is not your house. Now, what's your name?
My name is Bill Wilkins, and I'm 72 years old.
What do you make of that voice?
Sounds confused. Is he senile?
The voice on this tape is coming from an 11-year-old girl. They're calling it England's Amityville. There is a family that desperately needs our help.
After everything we've seen, there isn't much that rattles either of us anymore. But this one still haunts me. Does it feel like the voice is coming from inside you?
More like it's coming from behind me.
James Wan's The Conjuring 2 lives up to its predecessor in my opinion. It's horror at its classiest, and with films like this one and a few others that have come out in the past couple years, horror really seems to be turning a corner after the long-winded, brutal trappings of torture porn garbage. After the success of the first film and the fact that the Warrens are real-life people who have many other haunting experiences to tell, it was kind of a given that this film got made. Though it's really nice to see it all come together for a film that's as good as the first one, and in my opinion, a little bit scarier. Taking place quite some time after the events of the first film, Lorraine and Ed Warren are still at it. However, as Lorraine begins to have visions of things she feels are more premonitions than anything else, she wants the two of them to stop investigating the paranormal and focus on being a family with their young daughter. When an old home in the slums of North London appears to be haunted by a demonic presence, the stories and accounts are so bizarre that they spread throughout the entire region, landing all the way back into the United States. Against their promises to one another, the Warrens travel there to give it a go and determine whether it's a hoax or it's a real threat to the family living inside. This film is literally full of scares and surprises. When I say full, I mean it in the very literal sense. This film hits the ground running and never stops. Without spoiling anything, there are moments in this film that are not only frightening and eerie as hell, but are shot and edited extremely well. As with the first film, this isn't just a good horror film, it's a good film in general. However, where the first film tended to feel more dramatic at times, The Conjuring 2 sets itself apart by acting much more like a horror film. It's for that reason that I feel it's a bit more frightening than the first. Both films start out with a good sense of realism and then bottom out of that sense by the end of the second act before going full-on bonkers, batshit crazy at the climax. One can't help but overlook any possible flaws to the narrative, and there really aren't that many, because the film is so much damn fun. James Wan is a master of spiritual haunting storytelling, and this film really represents what he does so well as a filmmaker. He understands the true essence of the situation he creates and puts out on display, as well as knowing that it also has to be fun, frightening, and compelling. Though not as compelling as the first one, there's some truly beautiful moments with Lorraine and the young girl Janet, who appears to be the one being used for possession. The young girl is played marvelously by Madison Wolfe, who in my opinion gives the best performance in the film. She's heartbreaking and also unbelievably terrifying at times.
Does it feel like it's coming from inside you?
No. More like it's coming from behind me. Like I'm being used.
Does it ever say things just to you that only you can hear? What does it say?
It said it wants to hurt you.
When did it say that?
Right now.
Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson both return as the Warrens, and both give fairly solid yet, this time slightly campy performances. The beautiful and talented Frances O'Connor gives a great performance as Peggy Hodgson, the mother of the home. The situation of this family and the conditions for which they live in are established perfectly within the first 15 minutes of the film. The pacing is spot on here, having an opening to reestablish our main couple, the Warrens, and then introducing us to the Hodgsons and their situation. The new London setting adds much old style and design to the setting, which makes it more creepy to wander the new surroundings with these characters. There's a scene in particular that focuses on a few separate accounts of activity within the house, all taking place at the same time in different parts of the house, all getting perfect amount of time and focus. We follow one of the young sons as he wanders hallways and ventures to different floors, all the while taking in the eerie and brilliant set design of the haunted house. This is definitely my favorite scene in the film. The use of Steadicam, sound design, and lighting make you nervous just watching it, but you can't take your eyes off it. The Conjuring 2 is a rare sequel that feels energetic and adds to much of the interesting mythos of the Warrens and the paranormal entities for which they investigate. Sure, it's not really the true story. It can't be. Whatever they really took from the actual account, I'm sure plays a nice part in the setup and outcome of the story. For me, taking pieces of real-life accounts, giving them the horror film treatment is not a bad thing, as long as it's directed by someone like Wan. Plus, the real audio of this possession, which you can find online, is frightening as hell, and they did a fantastic job recreating that. This film gives you the heebie-jeebies. Look behind you, or don't. Feel the breathing on your shoulders, or on the back of your neck. Turn around to nothing. This film evokes those real tendencies to manifest your own scenario, subconsciously or on purpose. It's not perfect, has a flawed ending. It does, however, do its job. It scares the shit out of you. This film gets 9 chugs and 8 gulps. This has been for Cinema Gulp. As always, like us if you like this review, and please leave a comment in the comment section below. Thanks a lot.